it's Allison here, also known as Lasan Faye, and today I'm here with a brand new Zen Doodle with me video for the fourth full week in August. Or, well, I guess really the fourth week. It's really only the third full week. Anyways, as always, I do these videos using the tangles from the Zen Art Challenge. And I have a link to the Facebook group down in the description below. And Heather does an amazing job linking to everything as best she can and making sure to have this challenge out every month. And she's also started a mailing list recently in order to help those who want to do the challenge who don't have a Facebook. And I will try to put that link down in the description below for you as well. And also, as always, I will have a link to the sources that I'm using for these tangles down in the description. But that being said, let's go ahead and dive on into the first tangle. The first tangle I have for you all today is called Cartouche, and it's by J. Cadian. And the way that you're going to do this one is you're going to start by drawing an oval. There in the, slightly in the upper half, kind of centered. And then off of this oval, you're just going to do a spiral that comes around a few times. And then that spiral will then come out and loop the other way. Until it meets back up. Then with those spiral lines in place, the next thing that you want to do is draw lines that come down, and for the very bottom one we're just going to connect it back up, but otherwise you just want them to all connect in. Yeah, this creates a nice little three-dimensional effect of, say, paper or being spiraled around itself. I think it's really cute, and you could choose to shade this in. I'm actually not going to shade mine in, and I'm going to leave it like this. And I'm really sorry, one of my neighbors is driving by, so if you can hear that, I apologize. But I'm going to go ahead, leave this tangle here, and move on to the next one. Okay, so the second tangle that I have for you all today is called Baton, and it's by Carol Ohl. And this tangle is really meant to be seen within a full piece, which is why I've decided to add the pencil mark here that creates a little bit of a curve. That's just to add some interest into the shape, but in no way is actually needed for the tangle itself. But at the same time, generally speaking, if you're doing the more traditional Zen tangle, what you've done is you've taken a pencil and you've kind of drawn a bunch of random little squiggles that help define all your spaces. And this is intended to fill one of those spaces, and a lot of times those spaces tend not to have straight lines as their edges. So that's why I decided to bring in this little pencil here just to help create some definition and a better idea about where the tangle's boundaries are. So, that being said, the way that you get started with Baton is you just start up in one area and do 5 lines. And then you can jump down a little bit and rotate and do 5 more lines. And rotate again and do 5 more lines. And repeat this going around until you've filled the space. And then with the blank spaces that you have left over, you can continue to add lines into them or shade them in darkly. But this gives a nice little wrapped effect that I think looks really cool. This is part of the reason why I did it going around a curve, was to show how that all meshes together. At the same time, this same thing can still work while having it be against a straight edge. I just think the curve shows it off a bit more. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead, leave this tangle here, and move on to the next one. The third tangle I have for you all today is called Lots of Dots by Carol Ohl. And the way that you're gonna start with this one is you're gonna start by making a U shape from dots. And you could do this with multiple U shapes. I'm only going to do one to preserve time. And then off of each dot, you're going to do a series of dots that go outward. And I'm going to upgrade my nib size in order to make the size difference easier. With all of those dots in place, we're now going to go through and connect them to each other. Oops, I want the smaller nib size, not that one. Actually, I'm going to use a 0.1 millimeter nib size. And how that's going to work is we're going to start on one end and do an outward facing parenthesis to connect things. And then going between the next two, we're going to do an inward facing parenthesis, and we're just going to alternate all the way around. That is more or less how you do lots of dots. Obviously you can have a lot more of these around. You can choose to do some shading with these if you like. But yeah, it's just a lot of fun to play around with, and I encourage you to experiment. But I'm going to go ahead, leave this tangle here, and move on to the next one. The fourth tangle I have for you all today is called Trella, and it is by Adele Bruno. So the way you want to get started with this one is you want to start by making a branch that curls out and ends in a little teardrop shape. Then off of that branch, you want to make another one and another one. And finally, we can have a final one up at the top that kind of curls the other way. And we just want to mirror these branches on the other side. Then between the branches, what's going to happen is we're just going to come in and add a little bit of curls to fill in the space. Then to add a bit of embellishment, we're going to add some dots on the outside of the original leaf shapes that we drew. Then as a final step, if you wish to use it, is we're just going to draw an aura, so a little outline of everything. And that completes Trella. I think Trella is a really pretty tangle, and as you can see in the image off on the right hand side, you could choose to use it as a border. You could also choose to fill in these little leaf shapes however you want, and play around with it depending upon what context you're using it in. I think it's really pretty. I want to use it again, and I hope you do too. But I'm going to leave this one here and move on to the next tangle. The fifth tangle I have for you all today is called Holiday Flower by Nicole Dreyer. And the way that you're going to get started with this one, there's two different ways you could start, but I'm going to follow the instructions for this, and that is you're going to start by drawing a curved V. And by curved, I just mean that it arcs inward slightly. And then draw some straight lines that connect the ends of the V to the apex of the V. And so you could draw the straight lines first and draw a regular V and then do parentheses facing outward along each V line. But that's up to you in which way you want to do it. Then a little ways into the V, we're just going to make two downward facing parentheses that are really close to each other. And then we're going to make a really long U shape that comes up and over. And then off of that U shape, we're going to do one U shape, or J shape, I guess, and another J shape. That connects it all back together. And this forms our little holiday flower. So these are the petals, and this is the main portion of the flower. Yeah, I think this is really cute, nice, quick little flower that you can do to add some embellishment to something. And so, yeah, I think it's a lot of fun, and I'm going to go ahead and leave this one here. The sixth tangle I have for you all today is called 11, and it's by Diana Schaefer. And the way you want to get started with this one is you want to start by drawing a semicircle. And we're just going to double up that semicircle on the inside and then triple it up. Then outside of the semicircle, we're just going to add a jagged line to surround it. And then with that jagged line, anywhere where the jagged line is coming in, we're just going to draw a line that connects it to the circle. And we're going to do that one more time. And you could continue to do this as many times as you wished. You could stack multiple of these together as hinted at in the image on the right. But yeah, that's really up to you. However, to save time on this video, I'm going to stop here and go ahead and move on to the next tangle. The final tangle I have for y'all this video is called Ticky Tacky, and it's by Trisha Long. And the way you want to work this tangle is you want to start by making a deep scallop. And that goes however long you wish it to go. And then underneath it, but in the opposite direction, you want to make a shallow scallop. Then at every halfway point, you want to draw a line that goes through the scalloped shapes that we have made. And then with a little piece that's hanging off, you're just going to connect it back up and shade it in once you're done. However, I'm going to save the shading for a little bit later when I'm doing even more shading. Then off of each little centerpiece, you're going to do 2 curves that echo the top scallop. Then as a final part, at the very top of the scallop, you're just going to do a little half circle that you'll fill in. And that is all that you need to do in order to do Ticky Tacky. I do think this is a really cute tangle, and as you can see in the image on the right hand side, Trisha, when she made the instructions, also added some embellishments to make the different shapes look like ballerinas, which I totally see that. These totally look like tutus. But I've opted not to do that for this video. But anyways, I still think this is really cute, and I hope you do as well. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. Alright, so that is it for this week's tangles. I think they're all really, really pretty and a lot of fun to work with, and actually surprisingly weren't that tedious. I didn't deal with any hand cramping this week. So yeah, I highly encourage you all to try these out, and I look forward to seeing you all next week. And in the meantime, have a wonderful, wonderful week. Bye!